I didn't believe the story at first. You work for the park system long enough, you start hearing whispers. Old ranger tales, covered-up attacks, unexplained deaths in areas that get quietly closed off to the public. Most of it's garbage, campfire talk. But this one felt different. I found it by accident, going through water-damaged inventory from an old fire shelter up near Dry Creek Ridge, a place that was burned out back in 2011. They boxed up the salvageable gear and dumped it in a depot warehouse. I was just doing digital cataloging. That's when I came across the notebook. Its cover was torn in half, edges singed, pages brittle, and stuck together with what I still hope was mud. But some of it was legible. And at the bottom of one of the last pages was a signature. Ranger Evander Field. Evander had gone missing in October 2009. Last contact was a radio ping saying he was checking out an animal incident in Sector C12. Never came back. No remains ever found. The official report said he likely slipped and fell in the rain, lost in the storm. But what was written in that journal, it told a different story. October 7th, 2009, 7:04 p.m. Storms on me faster than expected, Evander wrote. Clouds moving in like smoke. Air tastes like metal. Dispatch lines dead. Nobody's responding. Guess I'm writing this out alone. He'd been tracking a report of strange animal behavior, gutted wildlife found along one of the upper game trails. A couple hikers swore something was watching them from the ridge. One said it stood on two legs. Evander dismissed it as panic, nerves getting frayed in the woods. But he logged it anyway. By 7:30, he'd made it up near the north rim. That's when things started getting weird. He wrote that the woods had gone dead silent. No birds, no wind, not even bugs. Just stillness, that heavy kind of silence that presses in around your ears. And then he found the first body. It was a deer. Chest cavity torn out like wet paper, he wrote. Spine exposed, organs gone. No scavenging signs. No drag marks. No paw prints around it. Then came the smell. Evander didn't describe it like decay. He said it smelled hot, musky, thick, like a dog that's been rolling in blood and piss. He said it made the back of his throat close up. He backed out, planning to return at dawn with backup. But on the way down, he saw something between the trees. Just for a moment. Movement, upright. Big, brown, black fur, matted. Looked wrong. Shoulders were too high. Back was arched like a sprinter coming out of the blocks. Head, I didn't get a clear look. Just eyeshine, yellow. He assumed it was a bear until he saw it drop onto all fours and sprint uphill, effortlessly, through dense timber. Bears don't move like that, he wrote. Nothing moves like that. The next section is written while he's moving. Shaky lines, less coherent. He talks about trying to radio out again. No signal. GPS dropped. Compass spun in place. Something's off. Terrain doesn't line up. I should be near the west switchbacks, but there's no trail, no markers. I followed this ridge dozens of times. Trees look different, like they're leaning away from something. He set up a temporary shelter beneath a rock outcrop and tried to wait the storm out. Then the sound came. He described it as a low, gurgling growl, rising in pitch until it sounded like branches breaking under pressure. It echoed between the trees, moving fast. It circled. I swear to God, it circled me. Never stepped out of the tree line. Just moved around, always just out of view. Didn't howl. Didn't bark. Just that breathing and that crackling growl. 8:03 p.m. That's the last timestamp Evander mentions. After that, the writing becomes more panicked. It's following me. Not close, but it's there. Every time I stop, I hear it breathing. I caught it moving through the trees, on two legs, arms long enough to touch the ground. It ducked behind a pine and vanished. He saw more claw marks. In the bark, shoulder high, 4 deep grooves in a straight slash. And something else. Fresh blood pooled at the base of the trunk. No tracks around it, just blood and fur snagged in the bark. He wrote that it smelled stronger now, like sweat, iron, and wet dirt. He could feel it nearby. This part hit me hard. I don't think it's hunting me. Not yet. I think it's enjoying this. He tried doubling back to an old logging road, but the trail was gone. Even the terrain looked different. I saw my own boot prints vanish behind me, he wrote. Mud covered them up like something was erasing them. He started to lose it then, began repeating himself. Scribbles, one line written over and over again. It's not a bear. It's not a bear. It's not a bear. Then came the final legible passage. Don't come looking for me. If you're reading this, leave the woods. There's something here. It doesn't want territory. It doesn't want food. It wants fear. It wants the chase. The last thing he wrote before the page cut off. I'm going to make a run for it. If it gets me, maybe someone will find this. But if it lets me go, then it wants others to know it's real. That's where it ends. No body, no gear, just the notebook found buried under a pile of stones near a creek bed. 2 years later, they told the public he fell, slipped and hit his head, washed downstream. Case closed. But I've seen claw marks, just like the ones he described. Deep in bark, always shoulder height, always fresh. No bear makes those. I've worked this job 23 years. I've seen what the wilderness can do to a man. But whatever Ranger Evander Field saw that night, it wasn't the wilderness. It was something in it. And it's still out there. I kept digging, not just into Evander's notebook, but into the whole damn region. Sector C12 had more anomalies than any other patrol zone in that part of the country. Over a dozen accidental deaths logged between 1996 and 2010. Most involved experienced hikers, all chalked up to exposure, falls, or wildlife. But the injuries, they didn't line up. Limbs torn clean, torsos opened up with surgical precision. One guy had his spine removed like it had been hooked and yanked. Search and rescue teams always found the same thing. No tracks, no struggle, no predator sign, just bodies, or pieces of them. And they always found them near Dry Creek. Back to Evander. After his last journal entry, there's a single additional note, different handwriting, clearly added later. Notebook recovered December 14th, 2011 by Recovery Team Bravo. Found in rock bed beneath collapsed pine, 400 yards northeast of Dry Creek. No sign of field, no blood trail. No other remains. But here's the thing. Recovery Team Bravo doesn't exist. Not in any internal directory, no records of dispatch, no incident report, no logs of entry or exit from the park system that week. I checked everything. Freedom of Information Act requests came back redacted or unavailable. Somebody found that notebook. and somebody didn't want it found again. I needed to know more, so I started asking around. Quietly, carefully, over beers and long hikes, I asked if anyone had ever heard stories about something out near Dry Creek. A few shook their heads. Most said nothing. But one guy, a former wildlife biologist who worked up there in the early 2000s, looked me dead in the eye and said, "You mean the shadow runner?" I asked what he meant. He just said, "Big creature, moves like smoke between the trees, leaves claw marks, never prints, stands tall, but runs like a wolf. You don't see it. You just hear breathing, then silence." He told me he'd seen it once, late at night, setting motion cameras on a trail. Huge, hunched forward, with long arms and a sloping neck. Said it moved fast, faster than a man, but didn't make a sound. He resigned 2 weeks later. A month after I found the notebook, I went to Dry Creek myself. I didn't tell anyone. Call me crazy, or even just flat out stupid, but I needed to know more. It's not like the maps. The area's changed, eroded, overgrown. I followed Evander's last known coordinates, up near a ridge where the trees bend in strange ways. And then I smelled something. Not rot, not decay. Something worse, like wet fur and hot copper and mold baked into skin. Suddenly, I heard something terrifying. Low breathing, not 5 feet off the trail, just behind a wall of brush. I didn't move, didn't even breathe. And whatever was on the other side, it was tall. I couldn't see it fully, but I saw the shadow. And I saw one arm pull back the brush. Thick, long, covered in coarse black fur. I ran. Didn't stop until I was 2 miles out. Didn't look back. I don't think I could have handled it if I had. The story's buried now, deep in some backroom archive that'll never see daylight. The notebook's gone, disappeared from the depot a week after I digitized it. No record of who took it. My access was revoked. They called it a clerical reassignment. But I remember every word Evander wrote. And I believe him. It's real. It hunts the forgotten corners of the wilderness. It watches trails the maps don't mark anymore. To whoever is listening to this, please stay away from Dry Creek Ridge. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to Descent into the Unknown for more horror content. If you have any real cryptid encounters, or you're a horror writer wanting to share your stories, please feel free to email me in the description anytime.